I'm Martha Cooper. I live in Peterborough, and I am a musician and a dance caller and a quilter and a parent, and I guess you can put many other things as well there.
So what do you think you've learned since the COVID outbreak started?
Well, what have I learned? It's been, I don't know what I have learned exactly, but I can say it's been interesting to see how kind of the world has handled it. And then maybe more specifically Canada. Before COVID, there was an increasing buzz about climate change. I can't say a huge buzz, but an increasing buzz about it. And I feel like the COVID has forced some, I hope they're not temporary. Cynically, I feel like they will be temporary, but it has forced some changes that are better for the planet, with all the reduced flying, reduced shopping because of things being closed, just forcing people to live a smaller footprint sort of life. And for me and my family, I feel like actually mostly that was kind of easy. We were happy to embrace that, other than the trials of, as a musician, particularly my husband would travel a lot, and so of course he's not traveling, which is better for the environment, but he's also not working, so then that's a different challenge. But I am enjoying living a smaller footprint kind of life.
Yeah. Do you think, like this is a bit of a supplementary, but do you think that climate change has been pushed aside slightly by this, coal thing dominating?
I think that everything's been pushed aside. I mean, in a way, it has made people more aware of like class differentiations. That how it's not, we're not all suffering equally. And it's made people aware, as I say, with like the not being able to fly. I mean, it's brought to the front how climate change, it's in our lives. Like, these are the things that we're doing to mess with the planet. And so people are kind of aware of it in that sense, but I don't actually feel like it's made it, anybody decide to focus on it anymore. People are just focused strictly on COVID and lockdown and the hardships of lockdown, or the can't go out and buy my this and that. And, I feel like people are more complaining about their immediate, and there's also very genuine hardships with the lockdown as well, but I'm feeling like, as far as climate change, people, that's still so far removed from the immediate person, from your immediate life that's right in front of your face.
Yeah, that makes sense. So during this time, do you think you've picked up any skills or improved upon any skills?
Well, I've done a lot more hand sewing, which has been really nice. We're homeschooling my daughter, and I can't say I've improved my skills at that. That's just been an interesting challenge, an interesting road to try and figure out how much we want to instruct her and force her to do things versus how much we want to just let her be and let her imagination take hold. And so that's been a very interesting road to go down.
Schooling versus unschooling kind of approach.
Yeah, exactly. And in my mind, we were going to be doing some schooling, and then quickly into September we realized maybe unschooling was the way. But I personally was feeling unsettled with that, and also my partner was feeling a bit unsettled with it. So now we've gone back to this kind of schooling thing, but we're still pretty it's pretty lax.
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I've been through that with our kids.
Yes.
They'll school when they need to, and they will on school. That's what we do, I think, as humans.
Right. We go through phases with it. Sometimes we're really keen to learn a thing, and sometimes we want to just sit on the couch and not do anything. Yeah.
What about in your other realms? Any other things that you might have done there?
Not really. As a dance caller, I could have been using this opportunity to research more dances, but I find it really hard to. I mean, I have no idea when I'm going to get to call a dance again. And I have not taken the opportunity to do the online Zoom contra dances. It just feels really depressing to me. So people are doing it, and I think they're getting some satisfaction. But for me, it just feels really depressing. So I'm not doing that at all. So no, I've been trying to keep playing music, but again, I'm very socially driven. I like to play with people. I like to have something that I'm working towards, like, oh, somebody's learning a tune, so I'm going to learn it with them. Yeah. And when, I was able to play some music over the summer outside with some friends, but now it's cold and you can't really play the flute outside. No. So, so I've not been, I'm in the holiday season, I'm playing a little more piano because I like to play carols on the piano. I'm not very good, but I like to try. So no, I'm not really taking the opportunity to further anything I might consider my livelihood or career. I'm kind of.
But you have a lot on your plate.
I've been mainly focused. My partner's been working on and off during COVID, and so when he's working, I'm on full time with the kids. And if he's not working, we're figuring out how to share that, and I'm doing, stuff. Yeah, like, just I don't know what I did learn how to make sourdough, like most of the other folks out there. Yeah,
that's good. So, would you have a particular COVID story, something that you might take away, something you might remember in the future that you'd like to share?
I don't have a particular story that I'd like to share, but I do have thoughts and feelings about. I don't have the answer, but I can think of something that I wish were different. And so there's been a lot of talk on the radio and the TV and the news. Like, a lot of the official people are talking about mental health. And the only thing that I feel they're providing is a hotline phone number. And I really think that that's inadequate. The hotline is great for the people that need it and for emergencies, but for us in our everyday lives, just average people who are struggling, I really don't need the corner store to be open or the bookstore. I'm sorry about people's livelihoods, but what I really need is a safe way to be with other humans. And I don't hear any government type people talking about how, during lockdown, you're only supposed to be with your family in your own house. During the first lockdown, they weren't even wanting people to go for a walk outside, which turns out, thankfully, that's ridiculous. So yeah, go for a walk outside. During the first lockdown, they closed parks and like trails and ways for people to be safely outside together. They closed all that stuff because they didn't know. And hopefully, thankfully, I think they know now that we can have those things open. But I feel like, the public spaces like churches and auditoriums and community halls, they could have those places open with tables spaced so that you don't have to go to a restaurant and spend money, but you can go to a place and sit and be with your friends. Like, they could have a little reservation. You can have this table for an hour and you can sit there and you can still have your masks on. We'll have all the windows open. Like, I mean, I don't know that that's the answer, but I feel like I wish people were talking about actual mental health solutions, maybe, or like supports, because a hotline I don't need a hotline.
No.
That hotline's not for me. But I do need humans.
Right. So you think like a drop-in center that you could book some time and
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, like someplace
bottom of a
or
church
like
hall or
you know, something like we could build some more shelters. I mean, there's gazebos around. Like we could. I'm sure that people who deal in contagious diseases. I feel like there's people smarter than me could think of some things that we could be doing that, you know. There are lots of people that are unhappy in their family in their own private home too. Like this doesn't work for those people.
No.
And what are they doing? You know, like we and as the 20-year-olds, you know, whoever it is that's going out and partying, well, they need human interaction. They just physiologically, developmentally, they need human interaction. So I wish that there was more effort being put in to help us do that. You know, it's all been about the economy, and that's of course I'm biased. I feel like we should just screw the economy and
worry about
scale
people.
back on that and actually worry about the humans.
No, that makes sense to me. That really does.
Yeah.
Which leads me to a more difficult question, but did you find there were any dark moments during the time, and how did you work through them?
Well, I can't say that I've exactly worked through them, but my mom passed away in December last year, and my sister, who I would say is my closest relative, she lives in the States. So she did come up in August and she quarantined in our basement. But normally, you know, especially I would, you know, with our mom passing away, like normally I'd be seeing my family. My stepfather has been here a couple of times in the nicer weather, but just for a day trip. So, I mean, she died before COVID, so I'm luckier, I guess, in a sense, than people who've passed away during COVID. But yeah, that's been really hard, just having to essentially go through the grieving process, without my family, but also without really feeling like, you know, I did tell my friends, but we can't get together, you know, and I can't cry on their shoulder or whatever, because I got to cry 2 meters apart from them. It's just, so, and my grandmother also passed away at the end of January, you know, so these, and it comes, I mean, then we come back to what I was just saying about the mental health, about people who've had family die during COVID, or good friends or whatever. Like, it's just, we need, you know, and I don't use Zoom and the internet maybe as much as I could. I definitely don't use it as much as I could, but it's that's definitely been a challenge, and I just, you know, it's been hard, and then the next day is better, and then there are hard times, and then it passes.
How do you work through that? Do you just do you put it somewhere else? Do you put it out of mind, or do you give yourself time to grieve?
Well, I guess I give myself time. I have a really great family, a supportive husband, and my 2 kids, and so, you know, my kids have definitely seen me cry a lot, which I know some parents don't do that, but I do, and you know, and they're, so they've all 3 of them have been very supportive. My 3-year-old just, you know, he's a little bit oblivious, but he, you know, he'll come and give me a hug, and so I've been really thankful that I've had that, you know.
I mean, we live in a society where, you know, grief and death and discussion of all of that tends to be like an embarrassing discussion.
It's true. I mean, we don't deal with that stuff in our culture anyway. In Canada, I could say maybe, you know, we don't have a good, I feel like we don't really have a good, comfortable way to talk about that. People don't know how to talk about that. People don't know how to really support people who are going through it. It's not something that we've been taught. And I don't know if other cultures are better, but I feel like there are some things that I've heard that people do in other cultures that, you know, they keep the person who's passed, they keep them sort of a little bit more present in their lives for longer, you know.
Yes.
And it's just a thing, whether it's like setting a place at the table for them or having a candle or whatever. And I'm also not religious, so I don't have my religious community to fall back on, or my spiritual beliefs or whatever. I don't have that because
Well, I suppose even people that did, they have no recourse to that. Like I know back at home, we would have a wake on the day and a couple of days after, and it's a way to get out, you know, a lot of energy that you need to, and you know, the happy and the sad. And
and thankfully we had a wake for my mom at the beginning of January, and it was really great. And with my grandma, I was able to go to the funeral because it was at beginning of February, I guess. You know, so I personally did get to have those things.
Yeah.
But you know, as anybody who's had the experience of a loved one passing knows, it's not over the day that the wake is over. your grief goes on, and so I've been told that it's intense for a year, and then it sort of, I don't know, kind of eases. Not in a, not to be unloving about that. It's not that, but just gets a little bit easier or something. And
it's true. You know, one thing we could learn from this COVID is how difficult it is for people grieving to have no access to any of that, you know, and for people to, you know, to end their lives with no human contact is probably, you know, an awfully distressful way.
Well, yes, and the people dying of COVID in the hospitals alone, that's just, again, I don't know that the other answer is right, but I just feel like I wouldn't wish that on anybody. You know, like, let's put on hazmat suits so that we can hang on to each other's hands or something. Like there's
got to be a way.
Yeah.
So moving on to a more positive note, do you have any new goals or resolutions that come out of this time? Or anything else?
You know what, I love singing, and I really have done a lot of singing during COVID, and I don't know what I'm going to do, but I want to sing with people. And right now you're not allowed to sing with people, really. So I really, it's not that I have a goal or a plan, but I just have it in my heart. I really want to sing, you know, with my family, with my dad and my sister, and I really want to sing with people. And no, I'm just looking forward to I'm looking forward to being able to appreciate playing music with people and dancing with people and singing with people. I'm really looking forward to feeling that joy and appreciating that. Like, I don't feel that I ever really took it for granted, but I'm anticipating how great that's going to be.
Yeah, no, I hear that. So in terms of that singing, does that mean you're focusing on learning songs that maybe you could sing with people, or do you have those songs already? You're just more determined that you want to do that?
I've been learning songs for years. I don't have a lot of them, but I have been learning songs, and I rarely sing with people. I just, I don't know, I don't get the opportunity, or I don't put myself out there to do it. So I sing songs with Sam. That's been pretty fun, and so we like to do that, and we'd like to do that more. And my family, they're also tune players and folk music people, so we get together and we sing and play music. And so, my sister and I always try to do it, but often it happens that we have this visit and we're doing whatever, and on the last night it's like, oh yeah, we got to sing some songs. So I don't know. I probably learned a song or two during COVID. It's not that I have anything specific in mind. It's just I've been wanting to. I guess I've been wanting to for years and haven't put any effort into making it happen. And now I'm thinking I got to figure out how to put some more effort into making it happen.
No, I like the idea of that.
Yeah.
So, where do you see yourself in the summer of 2021? Describe to me where you are.
Yeah, I guess partly it depends on how many people have had the vaccine. I love being outside. So this COVID thing has forced all the social interactions to be outside. And I mean, in the wintertime, it's not great. I like being outside in the wintertime, but you can't have great social interactions sometimes. You can't play tunes. So...
Are you calling a dance? Are you at a festival? Are you making music with your family?
I feel like definitely, as soon as the weather allows it, I'm going to be outside playing tunes. And yeah, depending on how cool it is to be singing songs, I'll be doing that. But yeah, I mean, we just, I don't know what we're doing with my daughter as far as homeschooling. I don't know. I mean, we'll do that till the end of the school year for sure. But like, I'm not sure if next year if she's going to go to school or not. And
yeah, that's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah, and she, Ruby is already like, she has wanted to go to school since the first day of junior kindergarten, and mostly for the social thing. So with the homeschooling, we have a little group. There's 2 to 5 other families, I guess, but mostly just 2 other families. And so there is some social interaction, a few times a week, every week.
Great.
So we do have that. And yeah, in the summer, I mean, I imagine, if we can't, well, I don't know, I want to see my family.
Yeah.
I want to see my dad and my stepfather, and they live more than, like, it's a bit far to go there and back in a day.
Right. So
you need nice weather, and, maybe we camp, or maybe we've got the vaccine, and so we don't care. I don't know.
What's your feelings on the vaccine? Are you happy to get it?
Yeah, I'm happy to get it. Yeah, I'm, I was nervous about the idea of rushing through to get a vaccine and not having enough time to see the side effects and consequences, but I feel like, in my completely uneducated opinion, I'm feeling more trusting of it at the moment. Maybe that's just wishful thinking, but definitely when it becomes available to me, I'm going to get it. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for your time.
Thanks, Steáfan.
You've given me some great things to consider and think about, and you've also brought up a whole bunch of stuff that has never happened in any of the other interviews.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so that's wonderful. So
well, good.
It's been so long since we've been here, this moment that we hold so dear. It felt as though night would forever stay. When you feel that low, there's always hope. Reach for my hand, I'll lead you home. It's there for you to always find the way. I'll tell you once, then tell you twice. Don't doubt it, look into my eyes. I'll always be the safest place to fall. If you ask me what is coming, well, I don't know, but I'm loving you. One thing I'm sure of, the pain will come and go, but we're better off together than alone. Now let's sit and dim the lights, tell tales of sleepless nights. The world is burning, tearing at the seams. We'll share truth about our lives. We'll pray time will make this right. 'Cause I need you here, not only in my dreams. I'll tell you once, then tell you twice. Don't doubt it, look into my eyes. I'll always be your safest place to fall. If you ask me what coming